Thank you again to Hunter Tools and Thompson Tools for being a sponsor for my YouTube channel.
Well, hello, welcome to my shop again. Wearing a hat here because I wanted to give a shout out to a good friend Chris Ramsey, that's an excellent hat maker. But one of the things that he does that I want to spend some time on today is feet, and what he does in the bottom of his bowls and vessels. And so we're going to work on these bottom treatments. Well, there's lots of different things we can do with the bottom underneath where a bowl or vessel sits on the table. So one of the things is we can do no foot. A more traditional way of doing it is to have a little foot where the bowl goes into where it's going to sit on the table with a little concave in the middle so it seats nicely. All right, another option is to put 3 feet on it. That way when the green wood dries and warps, it's not going to sit on the table nice and true. So when you put 3 feet on it, the 3 points will sit on the table and take any rocking away from the bowl. Now here's a medium foot, a little bit taller foot, has a little shaping to it. One of the key factors is making this outside shape pleasing and the inside shape of the foot pleasing here, and also keeping the bottom nice and rounded to follow the shape of the outside of the vessel. And another option would be long legs or feet. Chris Ramsey has done nothing quite like this, I don't know, but he does some longer feet and even does some carving on some feet. He's even done one bowl that has feet with toes on it. So there's lots of things that you can do with this idea. All right, so now my cut goes into the side of the tree by cutting this direction and not going from the rim to the bottom. Take it slow and easy. I'm just driving with the pad in the top of the bowl. This is the same thing I did on the hollow vessel, only the grain's the other direction, but I still do the same thing. I have the bevel support here with the flute pointing up, get my bevel on, get a little whisk of a shaving, and then roll my wrist and end straight up and down. All right, now you can see there's quite a little bit of fuzz just on the inside of that now. So I got to get back and do the back side, clean that up. Okay, make it nice and crisp and clean. So there's 2 elements that we need to match. We need to match the outside of the foot, so we need to make a nice little continuous line or a little ogee there, right? That'll be the outside of the foot, and then the inside of the foot can come straight down or have a little bit of curve to it, whatever you want to do on the inside. But the bottom is the most important part. That arc has to match the rest of the bowl. All right, now on the bowl, I'm going to work on this outside of the leg surface and transition it in nice and soft so that I could make a sharp corner here if I wanted to have a foot with a sharp angle here, but I'm going to soften that a bit. Here I'm watching the outside of that foot so that it's a nice continuous arc down into where it meets the bowl. Now, third thing I'm going to do, I roughed it out first, I did the pull cut to shape it, now I'm going to shear scrape and lower my handle and clean this up so that I don't have to sand much. Okay, we're going to use a little aid here, molding profiler. You get these at the hardware store or something, and it shows the shapes that you might want to do in a molding, that when you're doing some carving or something like that. But we're going to use it here to keep an eye on the bottom, the inside bottom of this, if we're going to make a foot. So we're going to squeeze that in there. All right. And this is going to give us an outside shape of the vessel, of the bowl, and we'll be able to see what's happening in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to make the inside of the foot first and taper that down in there. I'm going to leave a little bit of a foot here, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, and then we'll make the inside shape of the foot. All right, with my spindle gouge, I've made that shoulder as steep as I can, and the tailstock's getting in my way, so I'm going to use a different tool, use a scraper here. That means I'll have to sand that a little bit, but that's just on the foot, so what's left for the foot, so it won't hurt too much. I want to make that a little steeper down in here, so I'm just going to use a scraper to straighten that out. And I could even do the bottom with a scraper if I wanted to, make that dome. All right, before I get too deep and get too aggressive down in here, let's go measure it again and see what's happening to our profile. Okay, now I just took a compass and I made a mock-up, a model of the arc that was on the outside of my bowl, and I can compare it to the profiler, and I am pretty close. I can take just a hair more out of that bottom, but it's running pretty close. The area right here is nice and even with the outside of the bowl, and that's where this is going to transition when I carve that away. And the bottom of the bowl is a continuous arc. So I've got a little tool mark there, and I'm going to do a little bit deeper in the bottom, but I'm going to just take now a straight flat scraper to clean that up with. So we just clean this up very slowly, just gently, just clean up that surface. I know that corner's in good shape. I'm going to make this middle just a little bit more in the middle. All right, I'm going to do some carving now, so I've got to get really suited up. Got the face shield, I've got the ear protection, I've got the dust protection. You got to be wearing this stuff. You don't want to be breathing that dust. You don't want to hear all of the whining, grinding noises and hurt your hearing. I have lost some hearing over the years, so don't do what I did. Use your hearing protection all the time. Okay. Now we've got it off the lathe, and we're going to prepare to do our grinding. And I'm going to take a compass, and I'm going to get the radius, and then I'm going to start around and mark. Each one of these is going to be 1/6 of the circumference. So I'm going to go around here, and that'll give me my, every other one will be 1/3, right? Okay. Then we're going to take a pencil. All right, there's the center of my 1/3, or 1 of my 6. So I'm going to make a nice little arc here. I could take a little template, little piece of paper, so that I make each one the same. And we're going to make a little rounded foot. Now mark each foot evenly and accurately. Okay, now normally I would hold, one of the rules that I have with carving is that as much as I can, one of the items is stationary. So if I could hold this in a vise, I would, but it's too thin and I'd crack or flex the bowl. So I'm going to have to hold it in my lap, which is not very safe. But so you got to be careful, do some practice at carving if you've never done this before, because the carver wants to skate and grab. So I'm going to be holding this on my lap, which is not normally what I like to do. If you watch, I'm going to take little circles. The little circles are going to be controllable rather than trying to sweep across a pass. Then the cutter wants to skate. And I'm using an air tool die grinder with a wide fluted burr that's a more aggressive burr that I can get in there and clean that stuff up pretty quickly. Little circle. You don't need to hear that whining, nasty sound. Make sure you're wearing your hearing protection. But if you watch, I'm doing little tiny circles here just to keep it under control and just working away slowly, sneaking up on that surface, getting it nice and rounded, but no flat spots or divots in it. So go slowly and take your time. What I carve with is a variety of rotary tools. I don't do usually any knives or chisels by hand, but that's possible too. But a lot of people have a little Dremel or Fordham or other rotary tools around. Even just put the burrs in a drill. That'll work. So you don't need to have a lot of expensive tools. These are drum sanders. They're a padded drum that I use a lot. It's got a cam lock in there that the sandpaper wraps around inside a groove and then locks inside, so that you just keep replacing the sandpaper, and the pad the pad inside helps absorb some of the shaping going on. One of the tricks when you're shaping with sanding tools is to go east-west and then turn around and go north-south, so that you take the divots out from each direction as you go. Woo! 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 Can you see my smile? Alright. There's a little bump right there, but this one's really cool. This one's okay. I got a little bump right there. So feel it. Refine it. A little bump right here. Cool. So now I'd go through the grits, get all the way down to 400, 600 grit, clean them all up, and we'll put some finish on it. Now look at the nice sweeping arc coming up the side of the bowl and across the bottom and down the other side. It's important to have that nice flow on the inside of the bottom foot. Okay. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.